What's going on, people? Hope everyone's good. Yeah, man. This is your world champion. He's having fun. He's being himself finally. Be free, Lando. Be free to be who you are. Do you know what I mean? But the other video, I feel like that girl said something to Oscar that he didn't like. Like, you're the true champion, or you're number one. And you can see how jealous he gets, right? But anyway, just quickly, people are saying that the battle between the McLarens was fair, no preferential treatment, cool. All I'll say is this, yeah? Next year, I want to see situations where Lando Norris is winning the Grand Prix convincingly, yeah? He gets a 10-second time penalty, and Oscar Piastri inherits the lead. Lando's in second, they don't use team orders. They say, yep, we're going to keep it the way it is. You can overtake Oscar if you want to win. I also want to see situations where Lando, again, controlling the Grand Prix, winning, under control, right? He comes in for his pit stop in good faith, and then they say to him, oh yeah, we're going to do one less pit stop with Oscar. You have to catch him now. I want to see stuff like that. And then when he catches him, there's no team orders. There's no, oh yeah, let him through. Race him. If I see that next year, when he's a champion, then yeah, I'll say, okay, cool. Maybe there was no favoritism this year. What I don't want to hear is any bullshit about him being a champion now. Oh, he has to get preferential treatment. He's a champion now. If that's the case, go find Daniel Ricciardo. Go find a Daniel Ricciardo to be number 2 to Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri is not a number 2. He's not a number 2 driver to Lando Norris. He's too talented to be in that position. Yeah? That's why it's frustrating. But anyway, I've been reflecting on Lewis's last couple years at Mercedes and some of the things people were saying and we was upset with, but in a sad way, Toto was kind of right with what he said about the shelf life thing. Now I know a lot of people heard that, including myself, and we were upset, right? We found it very disrespectful to Lewis Hamilton. How could you disrespect him that way? But he kind of was right. Do you know what I mean? And Lewis probably took offense to that. Anyone would take offense to it. But I think he was right. And I feel like Lewis probably... What's the word I'm looking for? Not bit the hand that fed you, but... I'm trying to think of a better example. Just didn't believe him. Possibly was very dismissive of what he was saying. And probably this year has shocked him to his core, with what's happening at Ferrari. Now, people can talk about, oh, he's not used to the car, Leclerc's used to the car, and all these other things. That's fine if you want to say that, yeah? But based on his last year at Mercedes and his first year at Ferrari, it does look like a continuation, and it's even worse, obviously, because Charles Leclerc is a better driver, I believe, than George Russell, and he's not as used to the car as he was with Mercedes, right? Even though he had a bad year with George, it was only like 20 or 30 points, the gap between the two. We're talking 90 points between Lewis and Charles, something that you don't see Lewis lose to a teammate by that margin. And then, you see these other things now that Toto's saying, and you kind of like put 2 and 2 together. Do you remember that video when we saw Lewis basically in 2022 talking to Toto, and it was a very heated argument, right? Very heated. Then when Lewis is leaving, oh, we love you, I love you too, oh, we're going to miss you, I'm going to miss you too. It's all fake, yeah? Because I believe this. I believe something like this happened towards the end, yeah? The relationship broke down. Do you know what I mean? And ultimately, Lewis could have still been at Mercedes. Now, people can say, oh, you're the one that said you should go to Ferrari. 100% I did. And this was the reason why. Mercedes just about beat Ferrari in 2023. 2024, they just about miss out on the Constructors' Championship, right? I thought, and we all thought, sacrificing Carlos Sainz, unfortunately, bringing in a stronger driver like Lewis Hamilton to partner Charles Leclerc, they're at least going to win the Constructors. At least, yeah? What did they do? They changed the whole flipping car to a clown car, yeah? A clown car. But guess what? Even if you have a clown car to drive, that's what you have to drive. That's what you've been given. You still need to beat your teammate. It's unfortunate, but that's Formula One. Talking about, oh, he's not motivated, why should he drive it for? You can leave. You can give. No one is forcing anyone to drive anything. Do you know what I mean? That's what I don't understand. And there's only 20 seats, 22 next year in Formula One. Give the seat to someone that, it doesn't matter, bad car, good car, they're motivated to drive it. They're just happy to be there. Yeah? But that's just how it is in today's day and age, man. People just love to make excuses and defend someone when it doesn't even make sense. In Formula One, you can't live off your reputation. You just can't. If that was the case, Lewis Hamilton wouldn't really have 7 championships. What do I mean by that? What do you mean by that? A lot of people will say, Michael Schumacher retired the end of 2012, right? Why? Performances became shocking. Was getting battered by Nico Rosberg. But even Michael Schumacher knew, this isn't my level. Why am I still here for? This isn't good. This isn't a good thing how I've been performing, right? And he left. But if he could live off his reputation, he would probably still be there now. You know, obviously without the skiing accident and everything, you know. But yeah, you can't live off your reputation. You got to go out there and do the business every single time, right? And that's just being real. Now, more and more will come out about this relationship breaking down, I'm sure. But Lewis would have known more than me when I was recommending him to go to Ferrari. He knew somewhat, you know, what the Mercedes car was going to be capable of next year. And apparently they're so far ahead. That would have been his last year in Formula One, but he probably couldn't accept that. So now he went to Ferrari and things are worse, you know. It didn't look like it was going to be worse. It seemed like it was going to be better. But then I think there's one other thing as well why he left Mercedes. Do you remember when Sebastian Vettel left Red Bull and they asked Christian Horner why did he leave? And he said he was running from a fight, yeah? Without sabotage, if there was no sabotage, if George Russell genuinely beat Lewis Hamilton in 2024, that could be the reason. Maybe Lewis knew how much it took for him to beat George Russell, and it didn't look like it, but how much it took for him to beat George Russell in 2023, and he knew circumstances permit. Or maybe he knew what the bigger plan was for Mercedes. They were going to do a Lando Norris for George Russell, basically undermining Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes, championship winning car, 2026, to gift George Russell a championship. Maybe he was aware of that. Or maybe he just knew, championship winning car, I don't want to lose to George Russell. That will undo my legacy. The last championship winning car that I can potentially drive, 2026, if George Russell beats me, that will be it for me. There's no wait until next year, there's nothing. That's it, because I'm not going to get another contract after this. So potentially that may have served some role, but who knows, man, who knows. Like, even, you know, you shouldn't listen to everything someone says. Like Lewis was saying, yeah, I'm literally just dropping off the earth for 2 weeks. I'm not speaking to anyone. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. But yet he's testing tyres and trying to get the car good for 2026. Just say, yeah, like, when this is done, I'm locking in with my team. I'm not talking to anyone outside of Formula One. The only thing I'm going to be doing is working with Ferrari to get this car to where it needs to be for next year. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at it the wrong way. Now, I'm being accused of never being a Lewis Hamilton fan, for being a turncoat, all sorts of things. Listen, I want to see him do well. I don't want him to stay in this sport for no reason and undermine the legacy that he built. Some of you can't even understand that, yeah? That's what it means to me, to not see him suffer. Some of you probably like it. You like to see him suffer. Why do you think, anyway, let me not get into that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. We can only hope. We can only hope things improve, but I feel like Toto was kind of right with what he said. And maybe there wasn't any sabotage at Mercedes. I've already explained this. Maybe George Russell getting beaten by Lewis Hamilton so bad in 2023 woke him up. He realised he couldn't have another bad year. He dug deep and beat Lewis Hamilton. And yes, there were subtle things like them listening more to George in terms of the car development. Of course, the driver's leaving. Why are you going to listen to the driver that's leaving to develop the car? It doesn't make any sense, right? But anyway, That's just my thoughts. As always, let me know what you think. I hope you're all having a great day. Until next time, guys, take care.
Please let Lando pass, then you're free to race.